Let me show you this video that's probably really going to truly tick you off. Joe Biden was asked a question about President Trump in Colorado, and Joe Biden was asked, was President Trump an insurrectionist? This dude, this criminal, blatant criminal, all the corruption that follows him. Listen to what he says.
Is Trump an insurrectionist, sir?
Well, I think certainly it's self-evident. You saw it all. Now, whether the 14th Amendment applies, I'll let the court make that decision. But he certainly supported an insurrection. And no question about it. None. Zero. And he seems to be doubling down on about everything. Anyway, I've got to go do this.
Hey, are we expecting a hostage deal anytime soon?
Yes.
So he straight up says, well, the court said it. He's an insurrectionist. Colorado said it, so he's an insurrectionist. But the D.C. court, what did the D.C. court say about Trump being an insurrectionist, Shannon?
They didn't charge him with insurrection.
They didn't charge him with insurrection. The only reason why they did this in Colorado, and I've said this so many times, I've repeated it so many times, it's like a broken record. The only reason why they did this in Colorado is because they had the votes. The same way they did the votes in the impeachment in the House with Nancy Pelosi twice. Because they simply had the votes. Completely fraudulent, knowing that it was wrong, but they proceeded with it anyway. The same reason why they did the fake dossier. The same reason they did that is because they had the FISA courts in their pocket would do the criminal activity along with them. That's the only reason why they were able to do it. Same thing when it comes to the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, the IRS, going after conservatives because they have the people in their pocket to do it for them. That's the only reason. If it was valid reasons, then it would be a different story. They did this so when this story first broke, and I know people were like really nervous about all of this when they first heard this, but you don't need to be nervous. They did it to Abraham Lincoln, and the odds were stacked against him too. The odds were stacked against Abraham Lincoln because they didn't like the fact that Abraham Lincoln didn't want slaves. He was anti-slavery. So it was stacked against him. Not only that, he had other people that he was running against during that time. Other parties that he was running against, let alone the Democrat Party. So the odds were stacked against him extremely high, and they didn't have the communication the way we have it today. They most definitely could have. Most definitely. Kind of surprising that the Democrats didn't. I'm pretty sure they tried, but it didn't happen. Thank God it didn't happen. So now here it is, 2023, and they're attempting to do it again. And as I mentioned, the Democrat Party, there was not a switch. If there was actually a switch, the Republicans would be doing what the Democrats are doing right now, trying to get Joe Biden off the ballot for any reason. They did it back then with Abraham Lincoln because he was anti-slavery. Today, they're making it up about President Trump. Remember, President Trump said, go home, be peaceful. We are the law and order party. Not a single time did he ask anyone to do anything violent, and they know this. They're only saying that President Trump did this because people by the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people showed up that day to show support for President Trump. That's the reason why they're saying that President Trump did it. But you notice they don't ever bring up the feds that were involved. They leave that tidbit information out. See, the Democrats, they're playing this game. They put the elements in there so they can go back and use it. You know how I'm constantly telling you, if they don't take advantage of a crisis, they'll make up the crisis. So then they can turn around and take advantage of it. Let no crisis go to waste. Listen to this one with Kellyanne McEnany on. She was filling in for Hannity, talking about this Colorado episode. Now, if you believe that Colorado is not going full commie and you're there in Colorado, I mean, again, I think I would be truly looking on how I could sue the state by taking my vote away. That's the one thing in the political world that is the most cherished as an American citizen. Your vote. Your right to vote, and they're taking it away from you.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The Colorado Supreme Court has just removed former President Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot. In a 4-3 ruling, the state Supreme Court has found Trump ineligible as a presidential candidate under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Breathtaking. This amendment disqualifies sworn officials who allegedly, quote, engaged in insurrection. In other words, 4 unelected judges are trying to preempt the will of voters, the will of the people of Colorado. And it's all in the name of democracy that they are undermining democracy. Incredible. And they're using a so-called insurrection as an excuse. The case will almost certainly be appealed to the United States Supreme Court, setting up a high-stakes legal battle that could very well define the course of the 2024 presidential election.
There it is. So you can't even write Trump's name in.
Nope.
And so just ponder on this for just a second, everybody. You can take it off the screen. Imagine, let's just say, well, it's not reality, right? But it's just hypothetically speaking here. Let's just say that everybody in the Colorado say, you know what? We're not having this. This is not what we asked for. This is not what we want. We are still American citizens in the state of Colorado. And just imagine if everybody in Colorado went in and they wrote Trump, they would throw out all of your ballots. Say, nope, you can't make sound decisions on who to vote for, so we're going to decide it for you. They would just automatically throw them all out and give all the electoral colleges to the Democrats. Then we have other states, which I really want to bring to your attention as well.
Listen to this, Will. California elections official urged to remove Trump from primary ballot. Now listen to this. This is crazy to me, but it's in the same spirit as Colorado. California Lieutenant Governor has called on the Secretary of State to explore, listen, every possible legal avenue to block former President Donald Trump from the state's presidential primary ballot. She said in a December 20 letter to California Secretary of State Weber that she should look into Colorado Supreme Court's decision from the previous day that blocks President Trump from the Colorado primary ballot and take similar action in the same spirit. Now, folks, these are people that said they believe in everybody's vote should count while they take away people's vote. Who they want to remove them from the ballot so their count, who they want doesn't matter. Every legal avenue, Will. What is happening to our country? The Democrats are not for our country.
This is how you bring in tyranny. This is how you implement a communist nation.
It's in our faces.
They're not even hiding it. They're not even hiding it. Listen to this one, because was this one of Trump's lawyers, Shannon?
Yeah, he was a Trump lawyer. He was there for the Mar-a-Lago raid.
Okay. Listen to what he's saying about what's happening in Colorado. Look, people, this is... Oh, before I play it, let me remind y'all of something. In the 1860s, when they did this to Abraham Lincoln, removing him from ballots, Abraham Lincoln became president. Here's a pop quiz. What happened to the country after Abraham Lincoln became president? They removed him from the ballot. They removed him from the ballot in 10 states. Abraham Lincoln. He became president. What happened in the country after Abraham Lincoln became president? It's a pop quiz. Anyone got the answer out there? I want to see it in the comments. I'm going to play this video, then we're going to go to the comments. I want to see. Listen to this.
I read the decision last night, and I think it was kind of stunning to me for how much it ignored the federal law. You know, the Congress took that provision of the Constitution, the 14th Amendment. They implemented it in 18 U.S.C. 2383, which is the insurrection and rebellion statute. And that is a statute that has been considered by multiple grand juries in D.C., both related to the protesters as well as to Donald Trump, and it's been rejected repeatedly. And that is the statute that specifically says if you're convicted of this section, then you are disqualified from holding office. So for a state court to then go, kind of around that statute to try and implement their own standard and decide, even though all of these grand juries sitting in D.C. declined to charge insurrection. We find that there was an insurrection. It's just not appropriate. And I think that it's a state court that's really wading into a political argument as opposed to a legal argument.
Yep. Let's put the comments on the screen.
I mean, this is huge. Actually.
This is like never happened before in our country since Abraham Lincoln, right? And I'm looking at the comments, and there's actually two correct answers in here that I can confirm. One is the Civil War. Yep. And who was just calling out for civil war, saying that if President Trump goes back into office, here's another pop quiz, extra credit. Who was just calling for a civil war if President Trump goes into office a second time? Who was doing that?
The left, the liberal news.
Shannon, you want y'all see that? Shannon took your extra credit away. But no, you're right. The left, they're saying if Trump goes if he goes back into the White House, it's going to be civil war. Really? It's going to be civil war? Why? Why is it going to be civil war? Because they'll be that angry. Aren't they already trying to destroy the country?
They're going to drive it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what their
intention
is.
And you know how they'll probably end up starting the second civil war? Someone put it in the comments. What else did they do after Abraham Lincoln won? They had the Civil War, and then they put a bullet in Abraham Lincoln. Can y'all imagine if they were to do that to Trump? What would happen in the country? What would happen to this country if a Democrat would, because it's not going to be conservative, it's not going to be a Christian. We already know this. It's not going to be either. It's not going to be any of them. It's not going to be these so-called white supremacists. It's not going to be that. So who would it be? It would be a total tyrant leftist, probably a Tifa member, because Tifa been going around people left and right here lately. But, they don't want to talk about that because it's Tifa. They're pushing us into a civil war. This is really, at first I was piping mad, but then when I heard about the story with Abraham Lincoln, what they did with Abraham Lincoln, I'm like, I'm not even concerned. It's not like President Trump was going to take Colorado in the first place, because they're going to get, Colorado's stinking blue. They're puke blue. Here's another one I want you to listen to. And this is talking about the dismissing of the case, right? In other states, right? Because other states are trying to get on board with this, but then there's some states that already attempted to do this.
Tim, they had the cases dismissed in Minnesota, New Hampshire, Florida, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Maine. It just got dismissed. Same case. But the others, they got 13 more that are pending right now in these states. Even by the odds, with all these Democratic governors appointing Democratic justices, you got to figure this is going to happen again. So let me just ask you, will the Supreme Court address this? And if they find that they agree with you about Colorado, they had no right to do this, will that just cease and desist all these other challenges?
Yes, I think this is a case where the Supreme Court has to step in, because there has to be consistency across the states. And, when you read the Colorado Supreme Court decision, they are specifically saying that Trump is ineligible for the office of the president. So if you carry that logic through, let's say that we let Colorado stand on its own, and let's say the other states come out the other way. He's on 49 ballots, and he's able to overcome the fact that he wasn't on Colorado. And let's say he wins the election. What happens then? Now the Colorado Supreme Court has told the governor of Colorado he's not eligible to be president, so you can ignore him. Yeah. So now Colorado doesn't recognize the chief executive.
Wow.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.